Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is, whatever time it is that you're watching this. It is currently, for me, I've got a little bit until afternoon. So for you guys, it is afternoon right now, but you might not watch this right away when this gets posted. So, hey, I wanted to real quick jump on here and just kind of share with you the plan because I know that a lot of people, well, I won't say everyone, but a lot of people are wondering what is the plan. We're wondering what the plan is for opening restaurants, which restaurants are going to open, what's the plan with movie theaters, what's the plan with parks, what's the plan with schools, and what's the plan with churches, what's the plan with the buildings that we go in to worship. And so we wanted to make sure that we got that out to you so that you don't feel like we're being secretive or we're just working on things and not keeping anybody up to date. We don't ever want it to come across that way. So last night, we met. I was the only one not in the room. Social distancing guidelines were followed for those in the room, but I couldn't be there because I'm still in Wyoming. But I was able to be on a Zoom call for a couple of hours last night talking about the plan for this and the plan for some other things. I was actually on Zoom calls for about 7.5 hours yesterday for different things, whether it be for the church here in Casper or national youth things or the call I was on last night with leadership for Monroe City First Church of God. But you're probably not all that interested in all those other conversations I had. You're interested in this one. So I want to, before jumping into what the plan for reopening is, to point out that, and this sounds so cliche, and I don't like cliches, but it's true and I believe it, the church never closed. And we need to make sure that we're reminding ourselves of that. Jesus told his followers once that he was going to tear down the temple and in 3 days rebuild it again, or that the temple would be torn down in 3 days, he would rebuild it again. And we know he wasn't talking about the physical building that they considered to be the place where God lived, that they considered to be God's house, because it wasn't torn down and rebuilt in 3 days. He was talking about himself. And then he told us that he was going to leave his spirit, and his spirit was going to live within us, effectively making us God's houses, effectively making us the church. So when we make the comment that we are the church, we don't go to church, that is a powerful statement that honestly the first century Christians would have really struggled with, and that we have sometimes turned into a cliche. But the church hasn't closed, and we see the evidence of that all around us. We see hungry people being fed. We see people losing their jobs being taken care of by those around them. We see those who live by themselves receiving phone calls so that there can still be some companionship during this time that we're separated. We still see the church being the church. We have lost the gathering during this time, but we have not lost the church. We have not lost the ability to worship God. We have lost the ability to worship God all standing in the same room. And that is super important. Being together is super important. But not being together does not shut down the church. And so, as I talk about a reopening plan, I hesitate to use those words because we're not reopening the church. We're reopening the building where we meet. And so here's the plan that was laid out. As much as we wanted to open up for Mother's Day or for the following week, after discussing the different hurdles that need to be jumped, the guidelines that need to be put in place, the cleaning supplies that need to be purchased, the different way of doing things that needs to be considered, as that list began to grow and grow and grow, and then as we considered what it would be like to have to tell people, hey, we are opening the building, but really we need to encourage you to stay home because you're in the compromised age range or you're in the compromised health bracket or whatever it may be. As we considered all of those things, a plan came into place that I believe was a God-led plan, not just a man-made plan. There was a lot of prayer going into this. Members of the leadership team who were able to show up an hour before the meeting just to pray. And so the plan was put in place that on May 24th, we will once again open up the doors to be able to meet together and to worship together in the same building. We've been worshiping together online, and that has been awesome. And I know that for some, it's been one of the hardest things, and for others it's like, wow, it's incredible that we can still have this. And I understand the different mindsets. I crave being among people and being in the same room with people again. So on May 24th, and not just because I crave it, but on May 24th, we will reopen the building. For the next couple of weeks, we will be getting the building ready, and we will be getting supplies in place, and we will be thinking through the processes that need to be put in place so that we don't have a reopening and then we get to the day before, and by reopening again, I mean reopening the building, not reopening the church, but so that we don't get to the day before and realize we're not ready and now we need to shut it back down again. Because that would be, well, as my students would say all the time, that would be the worst, to have it right there and then taken away again. So we're going to take the next couple weeks to get ready. We, for those of you who are able and comfortable to come on the 24th, we so look forward to meeting you. For those who are not able to or comfortable with coming on the 24th, we will continue to live stream. And really, even after things are, restrictions and guidelines are way loosened, we will continue to live stream for people who may be sick that day and just can't come in, or people who cannot get out of their house so that they can still participate in that way. And we want to continue to provide that for you. I know that there are questions, and I know that there are doubts, and there are different thoughts, and there are different beliefs. And what I would encourage you during this time is, first and foremost, continue to pray. But also remember that Jesus told us that they will know that we are his followers based on how we love one another. So even in your disagreements, and even in I'm not saying that it's wrong to share your disagreements, but as you share those disagreements, whether it be on social media or in person, remember first and foremost that we are told to love God and love one another. So as we're interacting, remember, everyone is watching. They're watching to see how Christians behave. And Jesus says they'll know that you're my followers because you'll look different based on the way that you love one another. I love you. I can't wait to, in a couple of months, be among you and to be, well, hopefully at that point, rubbing shoulders or giving elbow bumps or whatever it may be, but serving alongside you in the same place. God bless. We love you.